because they've been marginalized, they've been categorized as these D-average people. Where they go? They can't even fill out an application. It has hurt the workforce. It has hurt people who have been trying to get the right requisite job skills and the rest of it to go along with getting a good job. So much so now that what we see, a lot of young people, like you would have seen in Liberty City, muggling. That's the hip word for just hanging out and not doing anything much, just muggling around. That's the word they created. It says they're muggling. Now, we are seeing that every day, without exception, in the Bahamas, especially on New Providence. People just hanging out, got nothing to do, they ain't checking, they look as if the world has come to an end, but they'll pick up a gun and rob you. Some of them, not all. Some will pick up a gun and rob you, or a knife, or they'll use opportunities as a means of doing crime. I'm saying, how important is this D-average to be eliminated from our country, and how is that to become a reality from where you sit?
It's very important for the D-average to be eliminated. The thing is, Steve, we don't know what the D means. I have been trying to find proper statistics so that I can find a trend. Where are the strengths? Where are the weaknesses? Case in point, when I worked in Utah as a secondary science specialist for the Jordan School District, the first thing that I did, and these people hired me sight unseen just from my CV and a phone call, and they were like, come out here and work. Of course, when I got out there and they realized that they'd only had 1.8% black people, it was
said, wait a second, we thought you were a white woman.
Yes, they did. That's what they thought.
We know.
But they were very accommodating. They weren't racist. They just weren't used to seeing black people, much less anything else. In any event, the first thing that I did when I got there, I said, I need the data. You say that you have a D average in science, and that's what they said. Let me see the data. I went to the state website. I looked up my school district. I was able to follow the trend of the curriculum because everybody in the state teaches the same curriculum. If a child is in West Jordan, where I lived, and in a 3rd grade math class, and that child moves across the valley to Canyon School District, the teacher in Canyon School District must be within at least 3 days of the teacher across the valley. This is true standardized education. What we're doing is standardized testing, but we don't have standardized education. So when you try to find out what the D means, I should be able to, as I did in Utah, look at the data for all 3rd graders and say, okay, there's a weakness in numeracy, but not just numeracy, but in looking at multiplication maybe, or division. Because look, the scores that associated with math, with addition and subtraction are higher. From there, I could then go to the 3rd grade math teacher and say, your group of students last year were weak in multiplication. We need to work on multiplication.
I see.
Here, we don't have that. We just know we have a D. Here's where the D comes from. Let's say 5 of us take an exam. 3 of us get a D, 1 gets an A, and 1 gets a B. In the real world, we'd average that and we'd have a C. No, here what we do is we take a tally. 3 of us got a D, so the grade that year is what? D. We are operating on tallies. Everybody knows that.
Oh my Lord.
And no one seems to know this.
We are operating on tallies.
We are operating on tallies.
So you're telling me
how
that
many kids in...
we may just have a C average and don't even know.
Exactly. How many kids in Hopetown, Aberco got a B? How many got an A? How many got a C? How many got a D? And that's what we are doing. So this D average has no rhyme or reason, because I kept saying I would work.
You are debunking the D average.
I told them, show me the data and I will give you a path that we can fix it. Miami Central High School was about to be taken over by the state in 2001. I was in my classroom at Miami Northwestern minding my business. The people from the district heard about these crazy things I was doing over there, kids not sitting in their seats, kids swinging off the rafters, but they're learning. Why? Because I'm accommodating these learning styles. Then they